Hey everyone. All right, so today is another interview. Today is with Julia Passamonti. She is the owner and creator of Venetian Cat Fine Art, and she lives actually in New Mexico. I got a chance to interview her last night, so if you would please watch all the way till the end. She gives a lot of very good information, about herself, about her journey on carnivore, and I think it's really important that we watch all the way through because chances are there may be information that's in there that may be able to help somebody or maybe able to help yourself. So I will put her contact information in the description, and there was also a couple of videos that she has done that I will also link in there as well. So thank you everybody, and please enjoy the video. Hey everybody, welcome back to another one of my video interviews. So today I am joined with Julia Passamonti, right? Okay.
Yes,
Just
perfect.
wanted to make sure I said
Perfect. You get it perfectly.
that. And
Thank
you
you.
are in New Mexico, is that right?
Correct. Yes.
Okay. How long have you been out there?
I've lived out here for since 2012,
Okay.
and we're at 6,600 feet out
Oh
here.
wow.
Yeah, yeah.
Did
And
that
and the
take a little
reason
while
I
to get used to?
it did at first because I didn't have the bad respiratory issues that I do now then. Um, but it did. I had to like do some deep breathing. I mean, it definitely made a difference from coming from the out east in New Hampshire,
Oh,
where we're
oh yeah.
talking maybe about 150 feet above sea level there.
Right.
So it's yeah, it was like, whoa.
So
But
if
man,
you leave for a little while and come back, do you feel that difference?
yes, it's like so easy to
Oh, really?
breathe, just to jump and run up and down stairs. Like when I
Yeah.
go to Texas to visit
Oh,
my
yeah.
son, it's nothing, you know. I
Oh, yeah,
mean,
I'll bet.
it makes it does make a difference, but then you have the humidity,
Yeah,
which
well,
we
yeah.
don't have here. So that can make you feel like just like oh
Exactly.
man. you know. So
Yeah, that's how I
six to
felt when
one
I
and
moved
half
out.
a dozen.
That's how I felt when I moved out here to North Carolina.
Oh man.
Yeah, I was born and raised in
Just wring out the
California.
just
Exactly. Oh my
yeah,
gosh, it was
yeah.
horrible.
Oh yeah, and California's dry.
Oh yeah.
Oh man.
But
Yeah.
what's funny is like with California, like when a storm would roll in, like it would be like miles and miles away. Here, it's like it's right overhead. It's like, geez, it just moves
Oh
through.
yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah, and it stays there for days.
Yeah,
It's like, what's that in the sky? Oh, the sun.
it's like, oh,
That's how it
I
was.
didn't know that was here.
I know that's how New Hampshire was. I got so tired of that. Oh God, I
Oh
don't miss
yeah.
it. Don't miss it.
Uh,
Ah,
All right, well, let's go ahead and get going. So
okay.
for those of you that have watched, some of the interviews that I've done before, I've got questions that I have written up ahead of time that I share with my guests, so they at least know what's coming. But then we'll work on just follow up questions as we go. So the first one that I always like to start with is tell us about how life was like for you before carnivore.
Okay. So all my life I've had respiratory issues.
Okay.
Um, just always a little bit of coughing. I used to always get tonsillitis and all that kind of stuff. But it got real bad when right after my husband passed away in 2017.
Okay.
Before that, I noticed I was having a lot of joint pain and everything else. So in 2011, I had started doing ketovore. I
Okay.
also always had a battle with the food. I mean, I'm a tried and true, dyed in the wool food addict. And, like sugar, crack, methamphetamine, kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
And oh God, I was a sugar addict from the day I could reach and eat it.
Yeah.
My brother and I used to sit in the kitchen and sneak brown sugar
Oh,
and just
gee.
eat the lumps, I mean, you're talking hardcore, baby. Let me tell you. I mean, that was like, so, it's no wonder that at a very young age, excuse me, I was very depressed.
Yeah.
I had no idea it was the sugar.
Yep.
Anything starchy, anything carby, I loved. It's so it was definitely a habit.
Oh, sure.
I had an aunt that used to buy like Hawaiian punch, potato chips and stuff, and we weren't allowed to have that in the house because my father was a dentist. So
Oh,
he
jeez.
limited the sugar, but I found ways to get a hold of that stuff. And if I had to, I stole money from the change jar at maybe 8 and go to the candy store and buy it. I mean, that's
Oh
what
my
I'm
gosh.
telling you. Oh my God. And my brother and I laugh about it to this day, how bad we were.
Yeah, I
So
mean,
by the
it's
go ahead.
scary. I mean, it's somebody, who's, somebody you hear like, who's, like, has a drug addiction or something like that, where they go and they're stealing stuff to go get their next fix. Where
I'm
as a
telling you.
kid, it's like
I'm
I
telling you.
could,
I mean, it was so bad that with the popular girls that were real mean to me, I'd
yeah.
break in their lockers and steal their candy to get even with them. Okay. I mean, this is in like maybe 6th grade.
Oh,
It was bad.
jeez. Yeah.
Oh my God. Excuse me.
That's yeah.
So,
I
long story short, sorry for the coughing. Sometimes
That's okay.
the emphysema gets a hold of me at times.
Oh yeah.
So, okay. So, anyway, by the time I hit, let's see, fast forward, I was hitting my 30s. I had already discovered in my 20s that if I didn't eat any starch,
Hmm.
completely cut out bread, pasta, and everything, the weight would stay off.
Okay.
Now, I was never obese, but I always struggled with, getting the pants to fit, struggling. I always struggled with the weight.
Yeah.
I didn't look fat, but I felt I always had that roll, going on and
Hmm.
just, not quite getting into the clothes comfortably.
Right.
Stretch jeans were wonderful when they came out with those. Like, yeah, because they kind of stretched as my weight went up and down. I was always fluctuating. So
Yeah.
along with that came severe depression.
Hmm.
Now I was never one to do meds, and I'd say I was suicidally depressed from age 6. I mean, that's how
Wow.
it just for years and years. I learned to live with it. I did attempt it twice when I was young, maybe at age 17 and
Hmm.
16. I was very lucky to have survived through that.
Yeah.
Um, Also, not a happy home environment. It was very violent and all that kind of stuff. So that kind of added into
Oh,
it. And
okay.
then I smoked a lot of weed to try to escape the feelings,
Sure.
which made it worse because then I munched on more carbs. And that just it just added to the depression even more. It's like
Oh, jeez.
this double-edged sword.
Right, you get
So
the weed to make you feel good, and then the carbs like,
yeah,
"Okay, give
and
me
then
even more."
it just destroyed it. And oh man. So I finally I was by the time I was 35. I mean, I stopped all the drugs, all the alcohol, the weed, and everything like that. And then another maybe by that, let's see, I say I was in my 40s or the late 40s.
Mhm.
I decided to try keto. I don't even
Oh,
remember how I heard about it, but I kind of started naturally doing it because I realized that the less carbs I ate, the better I felt.
right.
So I did a form of ketovore from 2011 to 2023,
Okay.
but fairly successfully. However, and big however, I was always fighting with the food, fighting just constant, like the carb craving, the sugar craving. So I became a master at making keto treats,
Oh, okay.
the keto cheesecake, the
Yeah.
keto bombs, the keto brownies, and I, ah, just, it was always like trying to find that sweet fix without
Yeah.
paying the price.
Yep.
It did address the depression, the suicidal depression did go away. So I was pretty well free from that
Okay.
for all those years, so it was amazingly successful. The weight usually hovered around, I maintained a 50-pound weight loss because at my highest I went up to 162.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And I'm 5'2", just so people know, 5'2" and a medium build. I'm 64 years old. Now I weigh 100 pounds, between
Oh,
100,
wow.
101. So that's what carnivore's done. But I
Nice.
maintained it about 100, between 114, 116, around there.
Okay.
But it was always a struggle because that weight would creep up. Then I started doing fasting.
Yeah.
one meal a day, 3-day fasts.
Mhm.
Um, and that controlled it. Um, the emphysema symptoms started getting really bad, as I said, after my husband passed away in 2017. And it was really debilitating. I mean, to the point the coughing was really violent. Um, I had to put everything on rollers. At the time, I had a pottery business. It got just too heavy to lift stuff anymore.
Oh, sure.
And he used to help me a lot. And then he passed away, God rest his soul, from cancer.
Oh, okay.
So I had to do more and more stuff by myself, and it just got overwhelming.
Oh, I bet.
So I stopped doing that and switched to painting, which I'm doing now, which was a lot lighter physically. Oh,
Yeah,
my
yeah.
my cats have decided to be in the video here, but anyway, it's all right. Photobomb.
Right.
So anyway, I my brother, who's a medical doctor, really was worried, and he said he didn't think I'd make it another 5 years for how bad the symptoms were at that time.
Mm.
So I kept up with the keto. I didn't get off the wagon with that. Like I said, it was always a fight. But finally, in 2023, my son Marty, who has a channel called Bell Lavoro Auto Spa, he's a detailer. So shout out to Marty.
Okay.
He told me about Mikhaila Peterson and the Lion Diet. He said, "Ma, have you ever heard of this? Have you ever tried it? I'm going to try it." I was like, "Wow,
Oh,
really?"
okay.
So, because he's had issues with weight, and with
Okay.
respiratory stuff as well. So I said, "Let me check it out." So I started getting online. And then I found Ken Berry, and I found Dr. Chafee, and I found Dr. Sean Baker, and Ben Bickman, who discussed the metabolism and how sugar damages the mitochondria. And I'm like, and then also Dr. Sten Ekberg, who I learned a lot about insulin resistance through him. He's
Oh,
absolutely
okay.
phenomenal, and I was using him a lot through the Ketovore.
Mhm.
So I said maybe this sounds like something I really need to try, because it was getting more and more of a fight with the carbs and with the addiction and with the cravings. And so I started in July 17th of 2023. So
Okay.
right now I'm about 5 months into it.
Nice.
So the transition wasn't too bad. I didn't get like keto flu symptoms.
Mhm.
But at the time I was having IBS, irritable bowel syndrome, with just the constant, 6 times a day. It was awful,
Oh,
and I
yeah.
thought, I'm getting old. I'm 64 years old. And it was just that was horrible. Every time you cough, it was like a problem.
Right.
Not to go into the gory details, but you know what I mean.
Right, right.
Uh, the dry, cracked skin on my feet was really bad. My hair was
Mm.
falling out. I had anxiety through the roof. Um,
Wow.
just a lot of emotional stuff, and I'm like, wow, all the crappy feelings are coming back now. And after about 2 weeks into carnivore, the dry skin stopped, the anxiety stopped, the hair stopped falling out. I mean, just almost everything. I didn't break out of my face anymore. And then the weight started coming off, and which
Yeah.
I didn't expect. I was like, oh my gosh, and I wasn't even trying. I wasn't hungry.
Yeah.
The cravings, it took a while to leave. I'll be
Yeah.
honest about that. So what I did is the Kelly Hogan remedy, bacon.
Okay.
So if I got sugar cravings, or I felt like something, and usually it was always emotional. If I was
Right, right.
stressing out about something, I wanted to stuff the feelings, stuff your
Mhm.
face and stuff the feelings down. Bacon solved it.
Okay.
Um, I did find that I can't do butter because it
Oh,
puts weight on me. I'm sensitive to it. Makes me cough more. I gave
okay.
up coffee, because not so much for the coffee, but because I had to give up the cream. And the only
Oh,
way I can drink coffee is add it to heavy cream. And
right.
you're basically drinking flavored heavy cream with stevia.
Right.
I lived on stevia. I had jars of it that I gave to my acupuncturist, and he was all happy. I just cut that completely out, because what I realized I had to do is literally eliminate the sweet taste
Yeah.
out of my
Yeah.
life. That had to go. That's how much of an addict I am. I also gave up the cheese. I don't keep it in the house at all.
Okay.
Now, I do occasionally go out and we'll have a cheeseburger,
Mhm.
once in a great while. It doesn't seem to bother me, but if it's not around, it's not in the house, and I do that every once in a blue moon, that seems to be okay.
Yeah, it sounds like
Um,
small amounts are okay, but
yes,
if you start doing too much, then
Well, that's the
symptoms or
thing. I
things
mean,
to come
what's
back.
moderation? What's that even mean?
Yeah.
You know what I can't have it in the house. I just
Yeah.
get rid of it. And if
Yep.
it's, out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah, exactly.
So pretty much my diet now is ground beef, shaved chuck, which is really nice. I ended up investing in a beautiful meat slicer.
Oh, nice.
Um, oh, it's excellent, and I just shave it real thin, and I make like
Hmm.
6-ounce portions, and I eat that because ribeyes add up after a while. I love ribeye. I could live on it, but they get a little expensive sometimes. So,
Yeah.
I alternate it with chuck, with ground beef, with eggs. I
Okay.
do notice that sometimes if I eat a lot of eggs, I do get a little bit of an outbreak of eczema on my feet.
Oh,
So I
okay.
have to be careful with that. Sensitive to darn everything's pretty much. But, you know, th- they certainly don't create an addiction.
Right.
So overall, from the time I started, before carnivore to now, night and day, night and day. I was to the point before carnivore that I couldn't even paint anymore. I'd start painting and the violent coughing fits would start. And then I'd be so tired from that, I had to take a break. And
Wow.
it took me months to fight through a painting. I mean, I'm a very disciplined person, so I just pushed through. I don't have to do
So,
that anymore.
so, I just wanted to bring up a couple of these pictures that you had sent me
Sure.
ahead of time. Let's see. Let me switch here. So, is this at like
This
was this like your heaviest?
that's in 2008. I was approaching about 155, 160 pounds there. You can
Okay.
see my arms. I mean, I had no definition anymore, and it wasn't like I was eating bad food. I just was eating carbs, and they put the weight on. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not. I wasn't really a junk food eater or anything like that, or I probably would have been much heavier.
Yeah.
But
And
simply
you
eating. I had a wonderful Italian husband who
oh,
what
okay.
what a what a cook, you know.
Oh, I bet.
But
I
I
bet.
mean, I couldn't eat the pasta anymore. So
Yeah.
he was so sweet. He used to make me the sauce, and I'd eat that,
They
and he'd eat the pasta, and the weight started coming off then. But
just drinking it like, okay, yeah, that's great.
it was, I did, it worked. I just eat. So I'd make me a whole bowl of it. It was like eating a soup.
Right.
But that was probably at my heaviest there.
Oh, okay.
That was about 2010. I think I did that painting. you
Okay.
know, and you can see my face is really inflamed. So,
Yeah.
and the
Yeah.
depression was pretty bad. I remember the depression being really bad too.
Really?
You know,
Okay.
Painting was what got me through, just not wanting to really do myself in anymore. And like I said, after those two attempts, I never tried it again, but the thought was constantly
Oh, I'm
in
sure.
it was always in my mind. So I really understand people that get into that deep, dark place. It's nothing to be ashamed of.
Yeah.
It's physiological. It's what you're eating that's doing it. I'm telling you. I mean,
Well,
not that. Go
you know
ahead.
what's
I'm sorry.
interesting is the other day because um I struggle with sugar and a lot of times I'll go out and buy cherry coke is the death of me
Uh,
and that or I will get a candy bar. For me that's about as far as it goes, but still it's a lot, especially after the last, several months of doing really well. But what was interesting was I looked up the other day. I was like, what I wanted to find out, like, what are the side effects of sugar? And it talked about raising your blood pressure and your if you have diabetes you may have problems. But then the one word that stood out that really affected me that really got me to thinking was depression.
yeah,
And I
yeah,
never put those
yeah.
two together.
Nope.
Oops.
And people don't because you equate what the
No.
holidays and sugar with happiness. Are you kidding me
Exactly.
right now? It's like
Exactly.
it's like if I eat that stuff, the next thing that becomes really good is eating my gun. You
Yeah.
know? So I
Yeah.
mean, it's that bad for me.
Yeah.
So if you're in that deep dark place, what I did, which helped me get off it, is substitute. You start to work toward eating clean. For example, I
Mhm.
switched from instead of having a cherry Coke, there's this stuff called Zevia, Zevia, and they have
Mhm.
blackberry flavor. It's darn
Okay.
good. It doesn't have a nasty aftertaste or anything like that. And the worst thing you'll be addicted to is the stevia, but you're not putting that sugar in your body that's as bad.
Right.
And then eventually you can wean off of that, you know?
Yeah,
So
I'm just trying to just go do the cold turkey again. You
maybe
know,
that's what you have to do too.
I
Yeah.
did it back
Yeah.
in May when I first started, and so it's like just shut up and just do it.
Then it's just one day at a time.
It is.
Just like
It really
any
is.
addiction. That's how I got off a lot of other things too. It's like just for today, I won't have, or sometimes an hour at a time. Okay, right now I'm not going to have it. I'll have it at, say it's 10 o'clock. I'll do it at noon. Then noon comes around. Okay, I'm not going to
Hmm.
have it till 2. And
Yeah.
you can do these sort of yeah, that's me at my heaviest right there before I started keto
Okay.
in 20, yeah, that's in 2011.
Okay.
Yeah. Um, but it works doing it that way. You almost play like a mental game with yourself, you know. And the
Yeah.
other thing, I don't know if you pray or not like that, but for me, I used to pray to a higher power, whatever you want to call it. It doesn't really matter, the universe or anything. Just say, please help me for one day to
Right.
stay clean, just for today.
Right.
And and if you're really craving, talk to somebody that's
Yeah.
carnivore.
Yeah.
That really, really helps a lot. That's how I was able to beat all the other addictions because I smoke too.
Oh, okay.
Um, oh yeah, that was probably one of the hardest addictions. Well, I'd say sugar was the hardest addiction to quit. But I can
Yeah.
say today, other than maybe, like I like to buy clothes sometimes, but I buy them on eBay where they're cheap. But I'm
Well,
basically, as far as real bad addictions, I'm addiction free today,
and
one
here's
day
a
at a
picture
time.
of you.
That
So
was
now I
2 days ago.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Well, that's great. I
yeah.
mean, and then I think there was one more here. Yeah.
Ah, yep, that's me. So without the glasses on,
Right.
blind as a
That, that,
bat. But
that's a big reflection there in the
yeah,
the
no,
light.
exactly, exactly. Oh well.
So, so you've gone over, you went over the issues that you were having, the medical issue that you've been having, and how your journey has been going. So this is the one question that I always think is the most important is, tell us about your why. What was it about, going to keto, going to carnivore that made you just finally just sit down and say, you know what, maybe I need to really do this.
I was tired. Well, sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Yeah.
That's how I felt. I literally had to have everything on rollers just to. I have a
Yeah.
wood stove in the house. Just to haul wood into the house, I had to do one log at a time
Oh, wow.
before getting out of breath. Walking to the mailbox was like a major undertaking. I used to push myself to do it because my daughter, who's a physical therapist, would say that if you get your heart rate up a little bit, even if you have emphysema, it helps.
Yeah.
So I pushed myself to do that, and it was exhausting. I couldn't paint anymore. I think that's the straw that broke the
Mm,
camel's back. I just, the paintbrush felt like it weighed 1,000 pounds, and I mean, I'd love to paint,
yeah.
and I think this is not living anymore. And then a big one was also that I was too weak and sick to travel. I live out in New
Yeah.
Mexico. My children are out in Maine and New Hampshire, and
Yeah.
I'd travel every year to go visit them. And I mean, Southwest has great deals.
Mhm.
And I couldn't even do that. Just the thought of dealing with the Southwest Circus, it was overwhelming because they do wheel you through the airport, but once you get out of the terminal and have to go catch a cab to wherever you need to go, you've got to lug those bags yourself. And even though I
Yeah.
traveled light, when you have emphysema or respiratory issues, just carrying like a 5-pound package of meat through the store is tiring.
Sure.
You get winded from doing that. So I just
Sure.
couldn't handle it. And now I'm ready. I'm actually ready to attempt it again in
Now
five
you feel
months.
like you can zoom through the airport and just
I
let's
could,
go.
well, maybe not quite that, but but at least I'm not going to pass out.
Right.
Trying to
Right.
trying to lug my stuff. So and I feel like I'm living again. But that's what made me decide. I think it was just that I couldn't paint. I couldn't just getting through the day.
Yeah.
Oh, and then being Italian. Okay, you got to have a clean house, right? Because
That's right.
just in case somebody stops by, they see your
That's
dirty
right.
floor, they're gonna think you're a total slob, right? Well, and I was having trouble doing that, and like, oh, oh
Oh,
no,
yeah.
no, 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 no. That's like
That's like, can't have that. No, no, no.
can't have that. No, yeah. So there's a lot of combination, but since doing carnivore, I mean, now I can weed whack my yard without
Oh,
too
okay.
much trouble. I did get like an electric hedge trimmer or electric weed whacker. My
Yeah.
partner had to help me do everything. Even going grocery shopping was exhausting. Like I have to buy cat litter. They're
Mm,
35
okay.
pound buckets. I have three cats, so
Yeah,
I don't buy. I have to buy the big buckets, and
that's
just
right.
to lift them into the cart. Oh my God! I had to like look around and hope that some nice person would come around and help me. And I always found somebody because in New Mexico people are so nice
Oh, that's
and they're
good.
always willing to help. So I never had any trouble finding somebody. But like really lifting like a 24 rack of water, my partner had to come in with me in the store just to help me get it up and into the cart,
Oh,
just stuff
yeah.
like that.
That's
No
crazy.
problem with that anymore. Now I use them to work out, the 35-pound buckets, just
There you
hold
go.
for 10 seconds, put it down. That's
There
how I
you
get my
go.
workout. And racks of water, I used to have to put them on rollers to get them from the kitchen to the garage to put them away.
Yeah,
I can pick those babies up no problem now
that's
without
great.
getting winded and coughing. I could walk to the mailbox. I've made it up the hill in my yard, which is
Hmm.
about, I say maybe 30, 40 yards going uphill, not having to stop to catch my breath.
Yeah,
It's
that's
incredible.
great.
Incredible. I know that giving up the dairy made a big difference because I think that for my body, it's not only stalls the weight, but it was highly inflammatory.
Yeah, yeah.
So that made a massive difference. So
So while you,
transitional issues.
yeah.
Go ahead. Please
No, I
go
was
ahead
gonna
and
say, so while you were, even while you were doing, transition with keto and, with carnivore, um, did you find that you had was it easier, to do the transition into keto, or was it easier to go to carnivore? Now, granted, this channel is just based on, or it's just focused on carnivore, but there are a lot of people that are seeing ketovore as sort of a kind of like the step towards going towards carnivore, especially if you're because with either diet it's going to be an elimination diet, so with keto you are eliminating certain things. Obviously with carnivore you're eliminating almost everything.
right.
So did you find that you had any like real transition issues with either of
Um,
them?
Mostly with my digestion
Okay.
because I was kind of naturally going toward like I'm not a huge fan of vegetables. I just ate them because I thought you had to. It's like, oh, cool. I don't have to eat these anymore. Yeah,
That's
I
right.
used to make myself, just slather the butter on just so they were palatable or olive oil,
Right.
but just not having to eat those. But for me, it was I had the runs for I say the first month and a half
Okay.
transitioning, and what helped a lot was doing the keto chow
Hmm.
that you can buy, doing magnesium drops, doing electrolytes.
Okay.
I didn't want to do the element, although people love that because of the flavoring and the stevia. I said, I'll get hooked on that stuff. I know me,
Yeah.
So, and I'm going to go for the flavored stuff. So,
Right.
no, that was, no, there's no halfway with that. So, just not to have any sweet taste.
Yeah.
Um, so that was the biggest thing. And then cramps in my legs at night.
Okay.
I used to get a
Okay.
lot of that. And once I upped the magnesium. And it's
Okay.
important to do the right kind of magnesium because magnesium citrate will actually give you the runs, where the magnesium gluconate and the other
Mhm.
forms that are in the keto chow version help big time with the cramping.
Okay.
And I still
All
take
right.
like a little bit of an extra magnesium supplement at night, and that's pretty much solved that problem. And I can remember the first time it was came out normal, I was like, after after
Dun,
I mean, I
dun.
had gone through months and months and months of the IBS,
Yeah.
and I was like, oh my God, my digestion's normal now. Like,
Right.
wow. I was so blown away. I mean, it sounds so silly, but I used to like wonder like why my grandparents used to always talk about digestion, and now I'm their
Right.
age.
Right.
I was like, oh, I get it now.
Yeah. I remember my grandparents would talk about that sometimes. It's like, what are you
Milk and
doing? Don't
magnesia.
talk to me. Yeah. Don't talk
I
to
was
me
like, we
about
don't
that.
have too much information, right?
That's right.
Oh. I tell
So,
you. So,
so I know you've talked about, you've got family, on the East Coast. And you're going to be going to see them. What other goals do you have looking forward, and or do you
ah,
feel like you've hit them all?
well, for the one thing, just living to a ripe old age, healthy.
Yeah,
I mean, that's the big one. I was thinking to myself, if this is life, man, I don't care if I die tomorrow at this point. It's like, this is not life, living
right.
like this, and I wasn't even half as bad as some people.
Yeah,
I have a lot of compassion for people because I've listened to so many interviews on the carnivore channels, and oh my God, the stuff people suffered through with the meds and getting off them. And oh my God, it's
yeah,
just, I have a lot of compassion now, more than I ever had. So I was blessed because I haven't damaged my body with medication or inhalers or any of that kind of stuff.
yeah.
But what I hope to get out of it is to live to, just like that lady that Dr. Chafee interviewed. Is it Maggie that has that farm that she's hopping fences at 80
Oh,
years old?
yeah,
I'm like,
yeah,
yeah, that's me. I can totally see myself doing that and being a vibrant older person, you
yeah. She's
know?
like in what, her mid 80s, and she looks like she's
Yes.
like what, late 50s, early. I
She
was like,
looks like
she's
she's
got to be.
45 or 50 or something. I'm like, that's going to be me, man. She's my hero. Totally. Uh,
That was crazy.
and just to live again. I mean, now I'm looking forward to doing paintings and getting them more, into the galleries and,
That's great.
I can produce more work. I mean, I love doing it. I'm doing like three paintings at once where I was just maybe struggling through one. It took me 6 months to do at the end there.
Wow,
Um, so yeah, just basically that, to spend more time with the kids,
that's
visit
great.
them more
Yeah,
often if I can, if I can afford it. But yeah, just to live again. That's the biggest thing I am getting out of it. And I think that keeps improving.
sure,
It keeps
sure.
improving. Now I am open to, I've said this before that if I find that the symptoms aren't, they plateau out,
Hmm.
I'll go the next level and do lion diet.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
totally open to doing that. I've been thinking about it lately, so we'll see where that leads.
There you go.
But
Just meat and water. There you go.
meat and water, I'm good. Yeah, because that's all I drink now anyway.
Yeah.
So, oh, I do have pickles sometimes,
uh,
once in a while with the burger, just a little bit. But they or onion, a little bit of onion with my liver. I do love
yeah.
that. But
So that
as
just
far
kind
as
of leads to the cheating. I mean,
ah
people. There are a lot of people who, people like me. People who are big like me. They've got a wide range of things to cheat. And there are some people that that are not big like me, but still have the addiction of
oh
the
yeah,
starches and all the different things. And it's you know one of the things that I've talked about is when I see the videos of people who when they make a video where they've talked about doing the year of carnivore, and they'll talk about stories, but a lot of times, and nothing against them, but a lot of times they don't really go into full depth about the things that were going on during that moment. I think that's just because maybe a lot of time has gone by, and and for me, and that's why, like, when I started doing this, I wanted to make sure that I was at least putting something out, even just once a week,
right.
just so somebody could hear what I'm going through, or maybe in a comment that somebody else is going through, and be able to hear and relate,
Exactly.
even if they're not big.
Oh, let me tell you, the urge to cheat was daily,
Yeah.
hourly sometimes, and that's why I became the keto master.
Yeah.
The almond flour, the seed flours, and then
Yeah.
learning to make, like I said, have my cheesecake. It's better than the actual
Right.
stuff it was. I'm telling you, my keto stuff was better than the stuff you buy in the store.
Yeah.
I was so proud of that. But yes, I since carnivore, yes, I have felt the urge to cheat, and it usually relates to if I'm having anxiety. Okay, one of the big triggers for me, if I have to deal with government forms.
Oh
Oh
boy.
my God. I've had to help my mother transition into getting mass health Medicaid.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
Literally, this is with the lawyer now. And before Carnivore, I was having anxiety that was through the roof.
Oh no. Yeah.
The lawyers literally took 8 pounds of documents, 8 pounds, we're talking now, to the post office to mail to the Medicaid people. That's how, and I had to fax at least 200 pages of stuff myself.
Oh,
I mean,
that's
anything.
crazy.
It would totally trigger the urge to eat.
I bet.
Um,
I
oh,
bet.
that, and then I'm trying to think what else. If I'm trying to relax and then the phone rings and then somebody's at the door and then somebody, that like if it's this barrage of constant
Right.
chaos, it's like, oh, let me stuff my face to calm down. I can catch myself
Yep.
still opening the door of that refrigerator
Yep.
and grazing for food, and I'm like, oh, okay,
Yep.
I know what I'm trying to calm down. So now I try to do other things like take a deep breath and just
Oh,
sit.
okay. Okay.
I've also unplugged my phone.
Yeah.
People want to call me, they can leave a message, and
That's
I'll
right.
always call them back. But if I'm painting and I'm really into it and I don't want to be distracted by that, so I'll always check to see if there's messages or anything.
Right.
Um, so it's always emotional. It's emotional. It's definitely connected. I mean, that's what addiction is. You're trying to find a way to feel better. So
Right.
if you're an addict, don't judge yourself.
Yep.
It's human and natural to find a way to feel good. It's just that you have to substitute a better way to do that
Yep.
instead of
Yep.
doing harmful things. So what I do now, if it gets real bad, is I'll eat bacon,
Okay.
or I keep hamburger patties in the refrigerator.
Oh,
I
okay.
like, it sounds weird, but maybe not to a carnivore, but I love raw meat. I'll just eat a hunk of that and the
Okay.
craving goes away. Or if you don't like raw meat, just cook it and eat a piece of beef patty.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
going to hurt you. It'll satisfy that urge to chew something. Um, and if you are an addict, the sooner you can get off anything sweet,
Yeah.
the better off you're going to be, because that's a massive trigger for
Yeah. A lot
me.
of times I'll do pork rinds or just something
There you go.
just to chew, just
Crunch.
put something in your mouth and just crunch. Go. Okay. Now,
You know
10
what's
minutes
really
later, it's
awesome
gone.
is buy some top round, get a
Okay.
big piece of it and slice it. If you have a meat slicer, you slice it paper thin,
Hmm.
and then you put it in your air fryer and make beef jerky out of it.
Oh,
Oh
nice.
man, it's like these carnivore chips and they just melt in your mouth. And if you're having that urge to eat something, it's that delicate taste, just put a little bit of
Okay.
salt on it. Oh
Nice.
man, that totally kills it right there. I'm telling you, there's ways to do it because I'm a
Yeah.
dyed in the wool addict. I know me. And I'll always have it in me. It's always trying to rear its little head, but it's just not the battle it used to be.
Right.
That's the difference.
Right.
But making your own carnivore chips if you can't afford to buy the
Yeah.
carnivore chips, or what is it, carnivore crisps, I think they're called, that you can buy, but they get kind of pricey for some folks like me.
Yeah.
So
I
making
mean,
your own, I mean,
I looked at those online just from different vendors, Amazon, different
yeah,
places, and it's like I don't know if I can justify, what $5 a bag by the time you get, several of them plus shipping and everything. It's like,
right.
mm,
You know what? You
eh.
invest in a meat. I got a Bestwell meat slicer. It was just under $200. I ended up getting a
Oh wow.
$80 discount because I switched from my Amazon Prime or I got an Amazon store card. I have good credit, thankfully. So
Okay.
they knocked $80 off the price right off the bat.
Oh
That
nice.
thing has paid for itself.
I bet.
I take like two big chunks of like round, and when I get tired, my partner helps me cut the rest of it, and then I just put it in the air fryer, cook it, turn it halfway through, and I got a
Nice.
big old bag of the stuff for like fraction of the price. So I think after doing maybe two or three big hunks of meat, it's paid for
Mhm.
itself compared to
Oh, I
buying it,
bet. Yeah,
you
I
know.
bet.
Oh, and it's just the most delicate stuff. You can't even buy it like that. It's just
Oh
like
yeah.
it just melts in your mouth. It's wonderful. Anyway, anyone that's
Well, and then
tried it.
and the nice thing too is, I mean, it's unfortunate that, that you buy the stuff, but they still have to put some sort of a preservative or
Ah,
something in there,
ah,
And so you're never
yeah,
going to really get away from it unless you do
right.
like you're doing, where you buy the thing, you slice it yourself, you cook it yourself, and then the only thing is it was just
Salt.
the meat, yeah, salt.
And you use
So
Redmond salt, so you're using real salt or Himalayan, good quality Himalayan salt or
yeah,
something. You're
yeah,
using the real thing because a lot of salt even has like anti-caking agents, sugar. They put sugar in freaking salt, man.
yeah.
They put sugar in freaking everything. It's so hard to get away from. I mean, oh man.
I
But
mean, I
yeah,
found out the other day that really freaked me out was those cans of like butter spray and stuff like that. They put butane in that. Holy crap! It's like, you mean all these years I'm sucking down butane or eating that
just
stuff
take
when
your
I was
lighter and go,
yeah.
seriously. Hello? What's the
Like,
difference? Or even worse, like in the Parmesan cheese,
hmm,
they put paper in it,
yeah,
cellulose.
yeah,
Cellulose. It's like, oh my God. And I bet the people that do that laugh all the way to the bank.
yeah. I also heard they put like wood
Sad.
shavings in there.
Yes,
You know,
exactly. Well, that's what cellulose comes from, paper and wood fine.
yeah.
What do they think? We're beavers or something? Like, what the heck?
They put just enough in there so you get the taste of it, but then every few it's like, oh, they're never gonna
They'll
know.
never notice. Yeah, exactly. It's probably mostly wood chips and they're selling it for cheese prices.
That's right.
Mm. Oh my God.
So so
Basically,
do
I
you?
avoid the middle of the store and just shop the
Yeah,
perimeter and you're
exactly.
safe.
Just exactly.
Just don't go in there, except for water. That's the only thing I get. Even that you
Right.
got to watch.
Yeah,
But
because what was funny was years ago I went to a Trader Joe's, and the person that was there, the way he explained the store to me was interesting. He was like, when you go to a Trader Joe's, you're basically going to, for the most part, to the outside of any kind of store. When you walk in, it's usually most of what's in there is just going to be all the stuff that's just around the outside, which
exactly.
for carnivores is meat, dairy, fish, chicken. Okay, and there you go.
There
And
you
everything
go.
else is just blah.
Exactly. I know it. Oh gosh, but it does simplify life, doesn't it, to go
Oh,
shopping now?
absolutely,
I mean,
absolutely.
I went into Walmart today because that's what's out here is Wally World.
Yeah,
But I went in there and it was busy. Everybody Christmas shopping. Well,
yeah,
first of
yeah.
all I needed to buy was a 10-pound roll of meat and some crackers for my partner because
Hmm.
he's not doing carnivore. He's not ready for that right now, but that's okay. Um,
One day.
so I take care of him, but I love him. Anyway, so all I had to do was I didn't even need a cart. It was so nice. I could shimmy all
Yep,
through the people, grab my
yep.
10-pound roll, and I can carry it now because the emphysema symptoms aren't as bad, and I'm not coughing trying to just carry a 10-pound roll of meat
Oh, that's
and the
great.
crackers, and then just went right to the register, psh, was out.
Yep,
And my partner's going, "Oh my gosh, I didn't even finish my cigarette yet."
right. In, out, you're
Like,
done, you're
I
gone. Let's
was
go.
done. Oh yeah, exactly. It's
That's
so
great.
freeing. It's so freeing.
So,
Yeah.
do you honestly think that this was the right decision for you? With all the
Oh,
things that you've discussed, all the things that you've gone through over the years, the depression, the emphysema, all the different things, was this right?
oh, hell to the yes. Oh yes, with a capital YESS. Oh man, yeah, this has been the best thing that I've ever done for myself. It truly is. I would have never imagined it.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
certainly didn't imagine. I mean, the weight loss wasn't the goal. It was really just,
right,
slow down the coughing
right.
and so many other wonderful benefits, even like not having vertigo anymore.
Oh, wow.
I had
Okay.
awful vertigo and nausea from that and
Oh, yeah.
just so many things. I mean, my skin has gotten so much better. I used to have to cake on the foundation. Not that it looked
Mm,
bad. I have because I'm an artist. I know how to make it look nice. But I
hmm.
had like right above my eyes, it was really, really purpley. Like my
Oh, okay.
skin was really uneven, so I had to slap on the primer and then slap on the foundation, cake on, the creams and everything. Oh man,
Right. Like,
this
ding,
whole
ding,
routine.
ding, ding.
Yeah, pretty much. You get a paintbrush. Seriously. And now I don't even have to use foundation anymore. I just put face cream on, a little what they call makeup primer, and then just put makeup on, and I'm good to go.
There you go.
It's so nice. I mean, just so many things. My
That's
hair's not
great.
falling out. Just that's such a big one.
Oh, I
I mean,
bet.
I'd have an anxiety attack and then the hair just fell out in clumps. So, I'm not finding like big clumps in the bathtub anymore,
Yeah.
gosh. Oh,
So, is there
so,
anything that you wanted to maybe bring up or discuss that we haven't talked about yet? Granted, the major topic of these interviews is usually going to be carnivore, but I mean, is there anything that you want to talk about? Just it's even off topic.
no, I would say, well, it all relates,
Yeah.
actually. I mean, the big thing I want to say is food, what you put in your body is so critical
Oh
for
yeah.
your health and your mental well-being, your physical well-being. I mean, I would highly recommend for anyone going through even autistic people or mentally ill, all that kind of stuff. Dr. Georgia Ede, it's spelled EDE, I believe, has done some amazing work with that. She's actually treated people with diet,
Oh
and
wow.
90% of them have gotten off all their meds. She's on YouTube. She's done a bunch of interviews.
Okay.
If you have depression, if you have anything, look at your diet and what you're putting in your body. It's
Yeah.
so critical. I mean, how well is a car going to run if you put anything but gasoline, if it's a gasoline engine in the tank?
Yeah.
And you know what
Exactly.
happens when you put sugar in the gas tank,
Right.
right? Yeah. So, I mean, if you're seriously thinking of doing this, I think the most important thing to face, if you can't stop, is to face the fact that I'm an addict. There's
Yep.
no shame in that.
Yep.
I think it's a natural thing because even if you look at ancient history with humans, we're wired to survive.
Yep.
So we're basically, I think, wired to eat, protein, or let's say whole foods, because there's some people that do really well on a whole food, mostly vegetarian diet too, because they're eating whole foods.
Right.
The sweet thing, I think, is intended for when fruit was ripe, and that's what there was, and you eat that and you'd fatten up a little bit for the winter time, and
Mm-hmm.
then you'd survive when you couldn't find the food. So I think it's natural.
Yeah.
So, eating sweets all the time it's what we're wired to do. But then, of course, because we're not intended to eat them 24/7, it
Right.
causes health issues. So if you find you're addicted, I strongly recommend, just look up. You can look up any 12-step program. There's one
Mhm.
called Overeaters Anonymous.
Yep.
You don't have to go to the meetings or anything like that, but just to look at the 12 steps and how to, one day at a time, the little things that they tell you to help you.
Right.
I think it can really help. I know it helped me because I did a lot of 12-step work over the years to deal with my other addictions. So I've applied it to
Yeah.
getting off the cream, getting off the coffee, getting off the cheese, and it's kind of so wired into me at this point that I had mentally a pretty easy transition to do it.
Right.
Once I make up my mind to do it, I can just,
Yeah.
but I do it one day at a time. And I always thank the creator or whatever you want to do. You can call it whatever you want, for one day being able to eat clean off this thing,
Right.
for one, just for having my life,
Right.
you know,
Exactly.
just for having my life back. I'm so grateful. I
Yeah,
mean,
and
I can't tell you.
it's interesting. It's interesting. I saw a meme earlier today, which I thought was odd. It was I don't remember exactly what it said, but basically it was a woman is eating what looks like it's sort of like some sort of beyond meat, just something that's mixed together. And it just basically said, why do they make it try to taste like meat?
Right,
You know,
right.
and it just kind of goes back to what you were saying just a little bit ago. It's just this idea that it we are hardwired to eat to eat meat, and because that's the food that we really should be eating.
It's
You
species
know,
appropriate.
yeah,
Exactly.
we are the only
Exactly.
species that goes outside of the food that they are supposed to ingest. And it's crazy. I mean, look at what happens if you give a dog or a cat or something a bunch of sugar.
Or,
they're
or,
they're
or give
gonna.
them carbohydrates. Cats will
Right.
die. They'll die.
Exactly.
Why do so many cats get kidney disease? They're
Right.
obligate carnivores. They're not supposed to be eating the crunchy food,
Exactly.
you know? And
Exactly.
sadly, the food companies, and I'll go as far to say with the TV and subliminal programming and that kind of
Yep.
stuff, thanks to Ansel Keys, have brainwashed people into, following what I call the food pyramid scheme.
Oh yeah.
It should be inverted, really, but
Right.
everything's inverted today. And people don't, they have to kind of wake up and see what's really going on behind the curtain,
Yep.
and I think most of us have. Because
Yeah.
how many carnivore folks that I've listened to have gone to the doctor, they've tried the meds, what blows my mind is just how brainwashed even people in the medical industry are,
Yeah.
where like you're only eating meat?
Right.
Well, don't you know you can get kidney stones from that? And like high cholesterol and going, compared to how I felt, I don't care. But I
Exactly.
know it doesn't matter, I'm good with that.
Right.
Um,
Exactly.
I mean, the fact that you're losing weight, you can breathe, all these things are healing. Maybe something's working.
Yeah.
Maybe something
Yeah.
it cognitive dissonance with people. I have a little sister. She's special needs. She's was born and developed a brain tumor, so she had to have
Oh.
part of her brain got damaged from that like an infant. Really, she had brain cancer.
Okay.
Fast forward, she's now 60. She had a stroke in
Mhm.
August. She was doing fairly well, like doing a kind of a controlled keto, but we had to put her on an extreme form, like ketovore is what she's doing now.
Okay.
What a difference. She actually, in the stroke, she had lost her speech. She
Mm.
had lost her balance. She was losing executive function, like remembering even how to turn on the toaster, for example, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Now, with just doing ketovore, she can talk, she's clear, she's remembering things. She's balanced. I mean, she still has to use a walker, but she's doing so
Yeah.
much better. I mean, it's
Yeah.
like night and day. They didn't
Yeah.
think she'd recover. Now, how inverted our world
Mhm.
is that we had to get special permission for her to be in a keto diet. My brother happens to be a medical doctor, so he wrote a letter to her doctor and had her sign off on it. I mean, all these hoops
Good
just to eat
Lord.
healthy. Otherwise, it would be a diet of pizza, donuts, sugar
Yep.
cereal. I mean, it would
Yep.
kill her, and that's what she had the stroke for, I think, to begin with. And then, of course, because of the brain fog, not properly taking her meds for her thyroid
Yep.
condition,
Yep.
it's a combination of things. But
And folks, what we're talking about
excuse me,
here is is not, is not some crazy thing. I mean, all we're talking about you doing is just altering what you eat. That's it. You know,
be
we're
proactive in your own health.
yeah, we're not asking you. We're not trying to sell you,
No,
some sort of pill or something like that, something that you can
exactly.
take. All we're saying is you just change your diet, and that's why a lot of times, like, my brother did carnivore for he ended 30 days not too long ago. He's wanting to do 60, because
Awesome,
he is
awesome.
seeing, he's getting off his blood pressure medicine. His stress
Oh,
is really starting to lower. He's getting more energy. He's starting to
that's
do a lot more things.
wonderful.
And again, folks, all it is just eliminate it. Yes, again, it is an elimination diet, but you are eliminating, let's see, how do I put this nicely? You're eliminating everything that was never alive, right? So what all you're eating, yes, I mean, if you have issues with um, you know, eating animals and stuff like that, well, then I got to ask, why are you eating, beyond meat? Why are you eating stuff that's supposed to taste like meat when it's not actually meat?
And it's
When
highly
you
processed with all kinds of chemicals in it.
exactly. I mean, if you
Yeah.
were to honestly look at all the, I mean, when I go to the store and I buy meat, I buy hamburger or a steak or something like that. If it had an ingredients thing, it would just say meat. Okay, but you go and buy one of these Beyond Meat things, dude. The thing is like this long of all
Oh,
the different all the stuff that's in it.
let me make a warning about that. Now, as far as there is some people that are selling meat. They did this in my town. They're selling like big meat sale off the truck. You can get ribeye for 10 ribeyes for $40. And I'm like,
Yeah.
and what it is, it's meat, but it's pressed inferior cuts of meat that are glued together with cellulose, with grape juice, with all kinds of garbage. And it has an ingredient list on it this long. And they sell it to you frozen because it looks good. The minute you
Yeah.
put that stuff on your stove or in a skillet, it's going to fall apart. And it's garbage. They're selling you total.
Wow.
So be careful of that. Some restaurants, if you find that you order a steak in a chain restaurant, I know in particular some of them have done it. I don't want to name any names, but if it tastes really awful, that's probably why.
Yeah.
And you can tell by the texture. If you start pulling it apart, it just kind of falls apart in chunks.
Yeah.
You're getting fake meat. So be careful of that.
Wow.
Just read the ingredients. Read the ingredients because even in Walmart sometimes I don't lately I haven't seen it, but they've had meat that's been treated with 3% solution of some garbage that
Yep.
they injected it with, you
Yeah.
know. So just make sure. I usually buy just the Black Angus stuff.
Yeah.
That seems to be so far, knock on wood, it seems to be pretty consistent.
Yeah. I mean, again,
So
if the ingredients and what you're buying is more than one word, then you may want to rethink it.
it's probably a soft kill bioweapon if you can't pronounce it or if it's not in your kitchen. So beware of that.
Exactly. I mean, that's why I like doing,
Uh,
like pork rinds, so you just get the
oh
plain
yeah,
ones. It's just,
got to
pork
read the
skin and
ingredients on
salt.
those
Well,
though.
yeah,
They put sugar in them too.
yeah.
My partner brought a big bag home and he was so cute. He's like, "Hey, I got these for you." And I read them. It's like, "Oh no, dextrose." Oh God, why? Why?
Yeah.
Had to ruin perfectly good pork rinds.
But what I like
Uh,
to do, because sometimes like the plain is, well, it's plain. So like I'll go and get, maybe just some cream cheese or something like that. Let it sit out for a little bit so it gets kind of soft, and then just kind of scoop it.
oh yeah,
You know,
there you go. There you go.
so
Yeah,
something to go along with it. Because you can doctor up meat. You can add like salt and pepper and different things to it to make it
sure.
taste good. But the problem with pork rinds is it's skin. And
You
it.
can try putting a little bit of the Redmond's hickory or cherry smoke salt.
Okay. Oh,
Just a
I didn't
tiny.
know they had
Oh, they
that.
taste
Okay.
great with that. And then
Okay.
you're not getting because the dairy. What I found with that is, for me anyway. I mean, I can get addicted to butter. That's why I stopped eat. I eat it
Yeah.
very once in a blue moon.
Hmm.
Um, it it tends to slow down weight loss. It can actually make you gain weight. And dairy has both protein and growth hormones in it. So
Oh,
it's
okay.
designed to make you gain weight. So
Mm,
for people that are lactose intolerant, which I realized on carnivore I am, it's not good to put that in your body. And it can
okay.
actually, I found actually create more cravings. I
Interesting.
find if I eat a lot of butter, I'm starting to
Hmm.
crave like a little more sweet stuff and creamy stuff and so I'm like, yeah, it's just something to watch for if you find that you're sensitive and you're having those cravings. So,
Yeah, that's interesting because so I was actually going to make a video about this in a couple days, but I guess I'll just talk
oh,
about it
cool.
now.
Sure.
Is I so over the last couple of months, I've been the amount of stress in my life has really started to increase, and
Ooh.
the problem for me is that I don't have an out. I don't have a way of going and doing something to eliminate it. So what I end up doing is going back to what I was programmed to do, and that's eat. So,
Exactly.
but now at the
Exactly.
same time, a lot of things that were happening was, I would, I started looking into, okay. So what it was with the sugar, with the candy bars that I've been eating a lot more lately. All of a sudden, I'm finding that I'm starting to want to go and eat more. And
Mm.
I had gone to a forum, and I was like, hey, for those of you who are carnivore, do you ever find that you just want to just continue to, like, maybe binge eat and, just eat more. And most people said no, but and then they also said, well, maybe try increasing the amount of fat that you're intaking,
Ah,
because like with ground
yes.
beef, obviously a lot of it cooks away and different things like that. So I started to increase the amount of butter,
Oh,
because I wanted to cook more with it, and it just, now granted I don't eat it, I don't
like a
like just
stick of
go and
butter a
cut it and
day or
eat it.
anything.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't
yeah,
do anything like that. However, now here's the part that that I wanted to get to, which I don't really want to get to, but I have to anyway, is I've actually gained about 25 pounds.
yeah.
And for me, it's I don't know, it's kind of embarrassing, just
No,
because,
it's
because
the
my,
lactose.
yeah,
It's the lactose. It's
yeah,
don't be embarrassed about it. It's because you didn't know,
right, exactly.
you know. It's not like you're out there and then you're wondering like, why am I having these cravings and what's going on? That stuff, it's a trigger for some of us.
Yeah,
I'm one of those
yeah,
people that can't do it. I can do it once in a blue moon. I'll mix it with some duck fat. But if you stick to lard, tallow, duck fat, bacon fat, you're going to be
yeah,
okay. That's how to increase your fat if you're going to do it. And every time you cook a ribeye, pour that stuff all over your ribeye.
yeah,
And I found for me that the craving stopped.
yeah. Because I actually found that, the my local grocery store actually sells, beef fat for like a dollar
Yes.
99 a pound.
Oh, perfect.
So I may actually, when I get paid next week, I'm thinking I may just go and just buy some and then just figure out how to render it down properly, and actually maybe start using that rather than the butter.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And because I mean, there's a lot of things that I've, obviously I just have to get under control. And the big one is having to fight again against the sugar.
The sugar
Um,
monster, man. Oh
yeah,
God, I feel for
yeah.
you. Oh,
And the other thing is,
that's
and
tough.
the one thing I've been working on is trying not to beat myself up and
Exactly.
blame myself for the weight gain, because the scale has been going back up again. It's like, I've been like, okay, well, I don't want anybody to know, so I'm not going to make any videos. I'm not going
Oh
to do,
no, the
so
shame.
I'm yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
yeah,
And
that's
it's just,
awful. And then
it's
you want to eat more because you want to
ex-
stuff the shame down. It's a vicious
exactly,
cycle.
it
I know.
is.
It's a
But I
vicious
just,
cycle.
it is, but it's just like, okay, I can't, because I this has been, I've been only doing this for, for just over a little over 7 months now, and th- this is the best diet, the best anything that I've
Yeah,
ever done in my life,
awesome.
because it is it is difficult in the beginning. Yes, it is. But once you get going, as long as you don't have a hiccup, it is the
Exactly.
easiest thing to do, because meat is just the best tasting thing in the world. It really honestly
And
is.
it's just like Larry says, just get back on the horse and keep going.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah.
You know, Larry at Carnivore Soldier,
Yeah.
he says that a lot.
Exactly.
Just get back on the horse because, you know, otherwise, if you beat yourself up in the shame, that's just going to keep you down.
Yeah.
And
Because I always talk. I was
addiction's a
gonna say, I
disease.
always talk about the idea of the falling off the wagon.
Right.
It's the idea that, well, yes, you fell off, but people always talk about, well, I got to go, I got to get back to the wagon. I got to back. Well, the honest truth is, it's still sitting right there.
There you
You
go.
know,
Right.
it doesn't move. You're the one that's moving away from it.
Right. Right.
The more garbage, the more stress, the more shame, the more, I don't know if I can do this anymore. You're just taking steps further away from
Yep.
the cart, and then trying
Right.
to get back to it is
Exactly.
like, oh, here we
Exactly.
go again. And then when you get back on,
Exactly.
it's like, okay, here we go. You know,
Yeah. Just gotta. It sounds awful to say, but just suck it up and
yeah,
just push through it. You'll be okay. You know. And you know what? If you're feeling that way, talk to somebody about it that you
yeah,
feel you're comfortable with. I mean, you know, I always tell people if they want to email me or anything like that, by all means. I mean, I'm more than happy to help people out through a rough spot or something
yeah. I mean,
because
the great
I've
thing
dealt
is
with
my brother's
addiction.
my brother's a behavioral therapist.
Oh,
So
gosh, that's awesome.
talking to
You
him,
help each
it's like
other.
exactly. I can sit
That's
down and it's like,
awesome.
so here's what's going on. He just like, okay, here we go.
That's wonderful. My brother's a doctor, but he's so kind and good-hearted. We can talk about this stuff a lot, and
Yeah,
he's been awesome. He's struggling with his own sugar addiction too.
yeah,
But but
yeah,
just to have him to talk to, my cousin also, I mean, just having good people to talk to really makes all the difference if you're going through some
yeah,
stuff. There's some personal stuff you don't want to share with people, that
yeah.
naturally, there's
Sure.
boundaries. So, but yeah, the main thing is just get back on. It's okay, just one
Yeah,
day at a time. And it's like, okay, today's another day.
yeah.
The I'll quit tomorrow, tomorrow never comes,
Right.
And one thing I know is how to deal with addiction, which I've been dealing with many years.
Yeah.
I've been, let's see, I think since the last time I did drugs or alcohol, it's been about 30 years for me,
Wow.
one day at a time.
That's
So
great.
this is
Yeah.
just applying the same principles.
Right.
Sugar. It's been since I haven't touched sugar since 2011. I think since I
Mhm.
started keto. Not voluntarily. If it accidentally
Right.
might have gotten in something, but that's also one day at a time.
Yeah. And and
And that's
I actually take that a step further, and I tell people, not only is it one day at a time, but it's also just one meal at a time too.
yes, very
You
good.
know.
Yes, yes,
So
exactly.
if you screw up one meal, well, it's just one meal.
It's
You
just one
know.
meal and gonna make. That's right. This meal will be,
Yeah.
clean.
And then
And
just
like
go
I
to the
said, the
next
power
one
of
and just pick it
prayer.
up. Yeah.
Power of prayer works. Like I said, even if you're an atheist, you can just pray to the universe or something or whatever. I mean, it's weird. I'm not a religious person. I have nothing against that, but I am more of a, I do believe in some kind of something, you know what I mean?
Right.
And just saying, hey, help. It
Right.
works. It works. You might get a phone call or somebody says the right thing or you'll hear the right thing on YouTube or who knows.
Yeah.
And it's just the thing that'll keep you going for that one more hour or one more day.
Exactly.
So yeah, 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 it's cool.
Well, Julie, I want to say thank you very much for coming on and doing this. This has been great.
It's been a pleasure. It's really been a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
So, do you have a website or something
I
that
do.
you sell your stuff?
I sure do. It's Venetian Cat Fine Art, but it's VenetianCat.com, just like it's spelled under my name there.
Okay,
Venetian Cat, all one word, VenetianCat.com.
great.
And my email is info @VenetianCat.com. So if anyone has questions or just wants to shoot the shit with another carnivore, you know, um, hey, by all means, contact me. I'm more
Well,
than happy to help.
do me a favor, and as soon as we're done here, go and send me an email with all that contact information,
I
and I'll put
will.
it in the description.
Awesome.
So
Okay, that'd be great.
folks, definitely go and check it out. So again, thank you for coming on, folks. Thank you again for watching. I hope that you've made it all the way through. You know, these videos really are intended to, just like we were saying at the beginning, is to get the word out.
Right,
And some people may have been following me since the beginning. Some people may come across my stuff. Maybe this may be the first one that you're watching, but there is a ton of stuff that's out there, and regardless of how the people look, the stories are all going to be the same.
right.
And carnivore, try it. Just 30 days, 60 days. I mean, honestly, what is the worst that can happen? You may feel better. Okay, but you know what? And that's the challenge that I try to tell people is do it for 30 days. Try it for 30 days, 60 days. If nothing happens, okay, what have you lost? Seriously.
Nothing. You got
You know,
nothing to lose and everything to gain,
exactly.
you know?
If you're big like me, you may lose weight. You may not. But but the thing is, if you're gonna do it, you got to go whole hog. You got to just get in there and you got to, you really got to do it. And and
New Year's
if
resolution for some, maybe,
yeah, I
you
mean, come
know?
on, we're coming up here in what 10 days.
Yeah.
Try it. Just
If
go
you're
for it.
sick and tired of being sick and tired,
Yeah,
you're a candidate.
yeah.
I was.
Try it through the month of January.
Yeah. There
Just
you go.
just focus on it. Just, just do meat, cheese, eggs, dairy. Just stick with carnivore. Go look at, Dr. Ken Berry. Go look at Dr. Baker, Dr. Chafee. I mean, you can get sucked down a huge, huge rabbit hole if you start watching it.
Oh
The
yeah,
one that
it's awesome.
the one that I'll put in the description, the one that I always tell people is go to Dr. Berry's Carnivore Basics. I
Yeah,
mean, he
definitely.
in that video, that was actually the first video that I ever watched that explained everything in
Oh, I'm
such,
glad you mentioned that. That's really important to
yeah,
know how to start. Yeah,
it's it's
that's
it's
really
very
good.
it's very simple. The way he explains it is he makes it simplistic,
Right,
and and the thing is, the way he talks about it is, rather than just, going for it right away, is do a 2 week transition, of you're going to just
right,
start increasing the amount of protein and you're going to be decreasing everything else till you get to the point where
exactly.
2 weeks have gone by, your body has made the adjustment. Yeah, when you go to the bathroom, it's going to be hectic anyway, but just focus on increasing the meat, decreasing everything else. So by the time you hit the 2 weeks, then your body's like, okay, let's bring on some more of the protein. Bring on more, and water, coffee. You can do heavy cream in your coffee if you need to. Tea, obviously unsweetened tea because we want to stay away from the sugar if at all possible. So there are things that are out there that you can do, things that you can substitute, and you will really find enjoyable. But you got to do it, and it gets back to um this question right here is, you
Yeah,
need to
yeah,
answer you need to figure out the why. and
exactly.
and for a long time, for me, when I was not doing carnivore, but when I was doing things to lose weight, my why was my family. My why was other people, which is good. But the thing is you have to throw you into the mix. You
Right.
really do, because if you're not focused on fixing you, it's it's not going to do as much good for you, because you need to be, when it comes to your health, when it comes to your well-being, you have to be selfish.
Yes,
And and you
absolutely.
yeah, you've just got to. And I don't care if you're big, I don't care if you're skinny, I honestly, I don't care if you're anorexic, but you have to understand that you are the most important thing in your life, and then you can go and help other people,
Right.
and
You
then
don't
see
take
when.
care of yourself, you're no good to anybody else anyway.
Exactly, because what
Yeah.
what what will happen is, you want to, especially, for me, and actually, even if you're, 40, 50 pounds overweight, you're gonna feel that back pain, you're gonna feel that tiredness. And if you want to try to go and do stuff with, I mean, especially with kids,
Oh,
or
yeah.
children, and trying to keep up with them,
Oh God.
or
Yeah,
trying to go on vacation, trying to, get on a plane and
exactly.
fly anywhere. It doesn't
Oh,
matter. It's
exactly.
just the idea of, I have to pack up, I have to drag all this stuff in, and it you gotta figure out your why, and you've got to figure out, you just need to accept the fact that you need to be somewhere in the mix, and it could take you a little while to get there, which is fine. But ultimately, you just need to be, well, I mean, you need to be the first why in there. But that may come in time. But if you sit down and say, well, I can't see myself right now, that's fine. That's absolutely fine. you know because when I, again, when I started doing this, even for carnivore, family was first.
Right.
And it took me like 2-3 months to eventually figure out, hey, maybe I need to think about me a little more. And the thing is now you have the energy, now you have the drive
Right. Right.
because you're
Right.
all of a sudden going to feel so much better. You're
Oh my
going to
God.
have this energy. You're
Yeah.
going to, I mean, seriously, you're going to walk out and smell the roses, and I can actually smell the roses, you know?
My sense of
So,
smell got better since doing carnivore, actually.
yeah.
It's amazing.
And honestly, if
Oh,
you were to hear, folks, if you were to hear all the stories of
oh
just the
man.
things from people, the things that change, because seriously, you could go and look up online to try to find what will change when I do the internet. Looking up on the internet is just it's not going to do you any good. You got to sit down. You got to talk to people that are doing. You got to watch videos
Right.
and listen to people's stories.
Oh yeah.
And
Oh yeah.
you know,
That's
and
that's what it, and that's what keeps me inspired too. I keep listening to people healing from MS and
yeah,
anxiety and horrible depression and then the massive, even massive weight loss. I mean, I think that's so wonderful.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
people that have died, like this one lady I was listening to, this Italian lady that had dieted her entire life.
Mm-hmm.
And then she found carnivore and lost like 150 pounds, you know, and
Yeah,
she's still going. I mean, I was like, how beautiful is that?
yeah. And you can
You
keep it
know,
off. You
yes,
know,
it's sustainable.
it
Mitch
is
from Old Guy Carnivore says that this is a way of life that's sustainable. That's the big
absolutely.
difference from all this other stuff. It's totally doable
Yeah,
and
yeah,
enjoyable. I love eating meat. It's the more I eat, the more I love it, you know?
yeah. And doing other kinds of diets with with other kinds of foods. You may go for a year, a couple years, but the problem is if you really run into a problem, you could, and I'm not saying that everybody does, but you could end up stumbling and falling off. You know. Now, granted, okay, so I have been honest. I am having issues right now, but I'm also able to still sustain the food and the energy, and I'm still going.
You're
Yeah, I
getting
kind
right
of
back on and you're getting right back on and hey, right on, you know?
yeah.
You
So
haven't quit. Just don't
I
quit.
kind of
Just don't quit.
exactly.
Don't
I just kind
stop
of have to
before the
go back,
miracle happens.
right?
That's what they say. Don't stop before the miracle happens, you know, just keep
I, I
going.
I just have to go back to the basics of
Yep, exactly.
just meat, dairy, eggs, water.
There
Just
you
go
go.
back to
There you
the,
go.
the things that are simple. If I'm driving by a 7-Eleven, just speed by, and uh, you know, and I'll get past it, you know, and
Exactly.
then the weight will continue to come down. The feelings of the energy will come back up, and I'll make more videos.
Yeah, right on. And I'll be watching. Your videos are awesome.
Thank you. And
You're welcome.
I really do, I really do try to to be honest and let people know that this will always be a struggle because it's taken me, I'm 52, so it's taken me 52 years to get to this point. So, and
Exactly.
it's not going to take it's not going to be 2 or 3 months and it's just going to be gone. It's programming that has
Right.
been going on for years
Your
and years
whole
and
life.
years.
Your whole life.
Yeah,
You literally, it takes, I'm not sure how long it is, but it takes a long time to literally rewire the neuron pathways in your brain. And you'll know when you've kind of gotten there when you can kind of just walk by all the garbage and you don't even want it.
right.
It doesn't even tempt you. Like, for example, with me, I was a massive pot smoker,
Mhm.
cigarette smoker. Drinking, I did it if I couldn't find anything else. And if I was around weed, I had to have it. Now it's been so long, it's been probably more than 30 years I haven't touched any of it or any drugs of any kind.
Yeah,
And it can be all around me and I have no desire for whatever. It doesn't even
yeah,
tempt me. I like the smell even, but it's just like, nah, I
yeah.
just don't have any desire for it. So my brain's been rewired for many years of not doing it. And that does take time.
Sure.
It does take time because you're literally, it's a lifetime.
Yeah,
So that's why just be good to yourself and don't beat yourself up if,
right.
the fact that you're doing this is friggin' awesome.
Yeah,
I mean, look how
yeah,
many people wouldn't even be bothered. They're like, "Ah, I can't do that." You're doing it. So it's like, yeah.
yeah,
I mean, it takes a lot of courage.
yeah.
because then you
And
start to really face your inner demons and all kinds of
right,
different things, and you start
right.
really learning about yourself, and it's scary.
Yeah, and this is my way of keeping myself accountable is
There you go.
by, getting
Yeah,
on and just doing this even when, because they always talk about like, if you want to go out, if you want to go for a walk, you need to, but and it's when you absolutely don't want to do it is when you need to get up and
you
go
need
walk
to do it
outside.
right. Exactly. That's exactly
So
right.
it's the same with this. When I want to make I got to put something out there. It's like I don't want this to be, oh crap, I got to make another video. No,
I know. I
it's
know.
at that point that's when I have to go and make one because there's got to be something that's going on that I want to get out there and I want to be able to talk about, and because hopefully one person will hear that and be like, thank you. I mean, I don't know how many
Exactly.
times I've had that happen where somebody has just said,
Exactly.
well, I've just said one thing in an entire video. I just say one thing and people are like, I thank you so much. I needed to hear that. And it's like,
That's right.
that's it,
That's kind
you
of how
know,
the universe works. You hear what you need to hear through people. That's how it
anything
works,
and everything. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So again,
Yeah.
thank you very much for
Oh,
joining.
you're
Thank you
most
everybody
welcome.
for watching. Have a great day, wherever it is you're watching, and we'll see
Much
you all in the
love.
next video. Take care, everybody.
Okay. Bye-bye.